Welcome back guys to another Shapes 2 video. Today we'll be completing some side tasks. Let's have a quick look now at what we'll be trying to build. First off, we'll be creating the matter scooper here. Let's pin all of these to our side and they'll give you guys a good look at the final product. So it looks like it'll be making use of the recently unlocked pins building, and it's got quite a variety of colors or lack thereof. It's going to be a bit challenging, it looks like, but nothing we can't handle, I'm sure. For this video, we'll limit ourselves to 3 side tasks. So the other 2 that we'll be completing here is ancient communication, with the end result looking like so. Pinning 2 different shapes. That looks easier than the former. And then the last but not least for this run will be spiraling out number 27. And that looks easy, fairly easy. Just at a first glance, we'll see if that's actually true a little bit later. But why don't we jump into number 25? We do see... What do we see? Okay, so we get some change of color here between the blue. The blue then changes to cyan. So that should be an easy transition. And then all of a sudden we're stacking some uncolored and some red triangles on top. And a little itty bitty white teardrop. I don't know why they did that to us. And a little itty bitty gear segment too. It's just not cool. But sure, okay, we can do it, we can do it. But of course, we need our workspace. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of all this. And I might quickly set up another hub so that we can keep these coming in. So we can, let me see here, increase our operator count for these items. But I'm not going to leave you guys to sit through watching me all of that. So I'm just going to cut the recording here and I'll come back, maybe show you the new hub very briefly, and then come back to the main hub where we can start on our side tasks. See you guys very soon. While I remember, I just rediscovered a cool little trick when wanting to copy something. So I want to copy most of this. Let's say I don't want this portion though. What I can do is I can hold down Alt while I click and drag, and that's going to deselect this section while still remaining selected the rest here. So we can copy all of that like so and save that if I want. That's pretty cool. Alright guys, so I'll just give you a quick look at the setup that we've basically just moved. So we copy and pasted what we had and just pasted it over here. And then I've obviously connected up some more mining islands to a new train network that's completely separate to our other one, just out in the middle here. Now there's one thing that I've done a bit differently. I could only find 2 of the 3 shapes close together, and the third is a little ways off here. So this has its own line, and with a reduced amount of trains, and these trains come up because it's so far away. I've decided to put a mini transfer station here. So the mainline trains will come, and this is where they will pick up the third shape. And it's not like we need this shape particularly for the milestone that we're making, but I do prefer to have the hub with everything available in case I want to change that later. In any case, this is the simple transfer station. And then the trains with all three shapes are able to come in and drop it off. Now the one thing I haven't done yet is created another line that goes back to the hub, but that's the next step in this transfer process. And now we have the transit train, or trains, in here, and each of them I've just added a carriage, an extra carriage to each, because we should eventually be building and creating 2 full belts here. And this just gets connected back up to our hub, where we then have 2 belts ready to be fed just at the end here. Alright, now with that complete, we can finally get rid of all of this. We don't need that. And now we have a clean slate for our first side task. Let's just start off this task one at a time with first looking just for the correct shape. So let's go into our cutting. Huh. Ah, yeah, okay. Driven out and went to the wrong one. I was wondering where all our icons went, but no matter. We have them right here. So that'll produce the shape that we want, and then we'll want it rotated 60 degrees anti-clockwise. And then we want it painted as well. Which is not any of those. Let's spread it out just a little bit, and then just straight in. Okay, and we want hexagons. No worries. We've started getting our 2 belts in from our distant mining station. That's perfect. And we want blue into this painter. Which should come out here. Perfect. Now we can start working on this next one. We've got a blue little triangle, but we can't add that and then paint it together, I don't believe, because it's on a different level, unfortunately. So we'll have to paint that separately. It feels like a bit of a waste. Unless what we could do, of course, is to paint it before we cut it. And that way we'll only be using 1/6 of the paint otherwise. So let's do that instead. We're going to have the painter come out here. We don't. Well, we will need that flower eventually. Let's give ourselves a bit more space then. We'll go down one and across to the left one. Come here and paint immediately. And then we can find our single cut, but we only need one of those. So we can cut it into the right shape, and it should come out in the right orientation too. And then of course we need a pin, but just under that little segment. So we'll grab our pin pusher, which has lost its icon. That's a minor bug just in the early access at the moment because we overwrote the blueprint. So let me go ahead and fix that up real quick. There we go. That's the right icon. We'll put that in. And this is the fixed version with 3 pin pushes per belt. I had forgotten to do that initially. I thought it was only 2 for some reason. In any case, that'll be done. Then we're just combining the 2. And it doesn't currently matter which is on top because they're just slotting in between each other. Next up is just a change of color, which we already have. So we can just quickly delete that and throw that in once those 2 are complete. So that's fine. Let's work on these other 2 triangular shapes, one of which is being painted. So because they're the same as this first blue one here, we can just copy this segment and copy that for the red one and just place these over here. Bit staggered, of course. Alright. Then we can just take from this and that. Now we're looking for uncolored on top, so no painting there, but we do want red here. Now at no stage do we need to deliver the red and the grey separately, so we can immediately combine them with the grey being on top and the grey being the right hand side. So we're looking at our stackers with the right on top. And this shape goes on top of our blue, well, our teal actually, so we'll have to wait until all the blue is complete. And then last but not least, it wants just 2 more shapes, the little triangle gear piece and 1 white teardrop. So let's set that up. We can borrow from this lane here and also take from this first stop as well. We just need to find some room for it. Could bring this a bit closer. There we go. We're able to borrow from this line. As I've said earlier, we are only using 1/6 here. And we'll be doing the same thing again, except with... Ah, no, not quite. We don't want that colored actually. So let's remove that. It's helpful. And bring it straight into cutting. However, we do want the teardrop to be covered in white. That may be just a little bit too close to. We've got our first shape complete, so we'll get rid of the bypass. I might just end up taking from this white here. And we'll take the paint tool, cut it, we'll flip it and rotate. And that way the paint will be coming in on the right instead. And we're not finished yet, so we should have both of the shapes that we need now coming through soon. That we want to flip 180 degrees. And that does not have a pin on it, but the white teardrop has 2. So let's go ahead and combine these first. We'll stack the left on top of the right here. So left on top. Now I suppose we could create multiple pin blueprints because we need 2 here. I mean, we're unlikely to need 2 or 3 in the future, right? Ah, I just realized we haven't rotated these teardrops yet either. So what I might do is I'll get rid of that and then I'll rotate them both afterwards. Clear that with I. Okay, so we won't make the blueprints, but we will put 2 of the pins, but after rotating. So we wanted 180. And then we're not throwing these in, we're putting them on top. But we're quickly running out of space, actually. Well, we've got both of our blues finishing up now. That's great, so let's get rid of this. Oop. No, that's fine, it's just here. So we'll place that. Clear those painters. We need to do it again soon because there's still paint in those pipes here. But then we should see the sign coming in quite soon. So unlock those 2. Soon we'll be creating that. And at this stage, we should be able to also create this next shape here. So we've got that final little piece of the puzzle being built. We just need to combine it by stacking it into the bottom left hole. Okay, that was just a bit more delayed here, which is why we're seeing the blue. But that should come through cyan in just a moment. We'll get some extra blue in this particular section. So that should come good quite soon. Now, there's a good reason why these belts aren't full, because we're borrowing from some of that to start these other shapes in tandem. Oh, that's wonderful to see. All of these belts are completely full, which means our external hubs workstations are working perfectly. Although, why is that empty? Let's have a quick look. Do we not have enough trains, perhaps? It is quite a long way to go. No. Ah, okay, we missed some production time here. Alright, and that's because we don't have enough of that flower shape coming through. Which I believe is what we discussed earlier, maybe in this video or the last. Got plenty of extractions, it's the trains. Okay. There we go, that's why it pays to check. You can fix anything that's potentially going wrong or being inefficient. What is that? Interesting. Okay, back to the hub. And all those have started counting up now. Fantastic. Now, I don't love that we're borrowing from the right side here. Let's have a quick look of what we need from the right hand side. Looks like it's mainly just petals. Oh, but one hexagon too. Yeah, that's not great, but if we do this, ooh, didn't make that in time. We should have another one to draw from. So we can take this back. Let's start having a look at this. Now, do we have I think in uncommon maybe? Cut one piece and merge? What does that do? Alright, no, that's not what we want. I thought we might have had a cut that separated the two, but it looks like we just have the one that deletes. Which is unfortunate. I know I had it somewhere. Maybe it's in my blueprint station. Let me see, do some looking. Aha! So I did find it, it's just not saved for some reason. We've got the separator, so it doesn't delete that single piece. Instead it just spits it out on the right hand side. We have a couple more like that, so I should probably save those. I do believe we already have this one. Cool, okay. So we're back at the hub now with our newly saved blueprint. And now that we've put those extra unloaders in, we can delete that and use it for ourselves. So the reason why I wanted this is because of this third shape here. So we're going to need to cut this out so we can paint it a different color and then replace it back in. Let's start first by coloring the flower completely green. We'll just clean this up a bit. And we need the green to come out. Ooh. Like so. Get the paint. I really don't like that being in the way. Let's do this instead. Okay, so here's the green. Alright, and we've unlocked another shape. So let's get rid of that diversion. Now that that's complete, and that'll keep working on the others. Now back to this. We have a fully green flower by the end of that. And we might as well pin it now because every one of these shapes has pins underneath, even the red teardrop. So we'll just grab the pin pusher and throw it directly underneath. Now we can use our cutter. So directly after that, I'm going to want to rotate it just to help with visuals. So I want them both rotated 180 degrees. And then I want to paint this section red. Now this can currently go straight into the hub, as is. We can also... Oh, and after they've been pinned, they go through a cutter. They should keep their pin. Doesn't like undo that or anything. We should now have a red teardrop, which can then be combined. We'll grab the other one. Ooh. We're going to bring that down one. Now we're creating this shape instead. We can divert. So now we're creating both. Getting a bit cramped here, aren't we? And then we can obviously just cut this as well, so that we get that first shape. But before we do that, because this one has the most required, I'm going to start with the hexagon first. Huh. Just have enough there. So we'll start by painting this hexagon the correct color. Then we have some pins on the hexagon as well, underneath. And after that, let's send it all the way down here. It comes out, and we want to stack this. We want to stack the right on top of the left. That should work out. Now that that's sorted, come back here. No, let's keep it in the north orientation. We want to delete the left side of the shape. But before we do that, we've got another task complete. Just get rid of that diversion. Now going straight in here. And in fact, I think I would prefer for it to go in the middle, bringing up that slot there. Okay, so we don't have any current blueprints that are super easy. I mean, we can make those work, but no, so let me go and find one. Aha, I found the one I wanted. We've got this blueprint here, which cuts a full shape in two and leaves the left side out here and the right side out here, and importantly, doesn't mix the two, doesn't rotate the two or anything. It just sends the right side to the right and the left side to the left. Let's save that. With our new blueprint, we can take that and throw this into the side here. We're going to put a diversion in, and we want, I suppose from this angle, oh, that's not going to work, hold on. Suppose let's get it right way up and come out like this, and we want the left half to go on, so we'll grab our trash island and just throw that in there. With the right hand side, we can have funnel back through into the hub. Now this is going to take a while because this is being used once. And twice already. Let's just check in on this real quick. We have very few indeed. We shouldn't have that little. What's going on? Ah, I see. Okay. Yeah, I should have thought of that. The problem is we're not using this section of the shape as quickly as we're using the other, so which is unfortunately jamming up this portion. So the quick and dirty fix, of course, is to split this into two, and anything that isn't being used, we're just going to trash. And later on we can get rid of this. Whoop. Get rid of this when we're using an even amount. But that won't be yet until these two shapes are complete. So maybe it would have been best in this case to just start from the beginning. Oh well. That should be fixed now. That's coming through. Brilliant. And we finally finished this shape. So we don't need this anymore. Let's get rid of that. And unlock the matter scooper. So just a quick overview. That's what our big factory looks like. We still have one more to do though, don't we? So let's clean this up. And we can start working on the final side task for this video, which is going to be spiraling out. Now thankfully it's not going to require many shapes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So just the one gear, and as usual we will paint these first. This one's going to be teal and one's going to be white. Of course we want them cut into individual segments. And we want the white one pinned. So the first one is pinned once. And the second one is pinned twice by the looks of it. Okay, the combining of these is a little bit weird. But let's get our pin set up first. Once, twice, and the third one is 3 times. You know what, let's go ahead and make blueprints. Instead of elongating our build, we can just edit these so that the whole platform does all the pinning for us. So I'll go ahead and quickly do that and then save them. Okay, so that's done now. This is the final result. It's very, very simple. And then I've just added a new folder to our hexagonal blueprint folder named pins, and put a 6 in front of it and put it in our blueprint toolbar. And then of course it has 1, 2 and 3 just there. And then that coincides with the number where the pin pusher naturally resides at the base toolbar setting. Now that white piece is pinned, I'm going to take this down and take one of these across just to combine the two. And that should be the first shape complete, except it's not in the correct rotation yet. So let's do that now. We want to rotate it 60 degrees to the right and then combine. Let's get the orientations right of these other two. So you want 60 degrees for the next one, and we want 120 degrees, sorry, for the third. And similarly with the white pieces, that's being rotated once. This one is being rotated twice, 120, and then a full 180 for this piece. Now does that look right? Yes. Okay, fantastic. The shape after this one looks like so. So how do we get that? I think what happens if we combine these two before then stacking it on top of the first? I'm going to just test that out. So what do we need here? The second one. And the second one here. We are definitely out of space. Really, it's pretty messy, I'm not gonna lie. So I'm just trying to click temporary fix by tiling that across. I just want to see which one is that. Okay, so put the left on top. That's not what we want. We want the right on top. Let's take this across and just see how it comes out. I have a bad feeling about this, but we will soon find out. What is... Oh, no, that looks right actually. So even though we're producing a shape where both of these gear pieces are very uneven, so that's on the first level, and this white piece is on the third, on top of 2 pins. When we then go ahead and try and stack it on this piece here, because this white piece is already too high, the second cyan gear piece gets elevated, and even though it's technically connected to this white piece down the bottom, it gets pushed up like so. Good to know. I'm just going to do some quick rerouting at the hub so we're not so stretched for space. Alright, so I've just moved the train routes just to the left a bit, clockwise. So they're now coming into the left of the hub, freeing up these slots for 1, 2, and 3. Mind you, these are now complete, so we do not need to divert them anymore. That's good. The half green flower is finished, as is the other 2. So let's go ahead and get rid of all of those diversions now. There we are. That should do, then we can delete the rest later. The only thing that should be coming through now is this thing. Which means that is now free as well. Okay, the last but not least, we're gonna have to do something a bit shady here. We can take this out like so, but with this piece, I'm going to need to bend it. Ugh. Cut that. and rotate it. Okay, that is the right way. Good. You probably want it down here actually. Why is that not auto tumbling? There we go. So hopefully the same trick works where we stack before putting it on the final piece here. Nope, that was one too far. Alright, you've got that third one routed in now. So long as what? What? What am I doing? No, that's right, isn't it? So what is that? Oh, it's in the wrong rotation. Oh, because I copied from here. Okay, okay. We've figured out the problem. That's the one we want. Yep, okay. Wait. Now I noticed that these still aren't always coming through. So there's periods where that second card is still empty. So let's go and check that again. Yeah, that's not where we want it to be. And why is that? Let's check here. Ah, okay, so it looks like we do need a fourth. Oh, what's going on there? A fourth extraction to keep up with all of that. And possibly some more trains. I'm not sure, so I might as well just throw some more in. We've got plenty of platforms to do it. Hopefully that fixes our problem. Alright, back to the hub. Both of those are ticking up, that's a good sign. But the last one isn't. We did try and fix it. That looks right. But that does not. Wait, no, that doesn't look right. That looks right. Okay, okay. So it's still coming through. Yeah, the good shapes start here. So if this comes through and it doesn't start counting up real soon, then we're in trouble. Let's check this other line now. We have very sparse. It's not a good sign. What's going on there? Ah! Right, yes. Well, now we've got the opposite problem because we were trashing a lot of those single shapes, single pieces. Now this is locked up. So now that we've deleted that, that should come good. We'll just clear all of that so we can get an even flow again. And you should start seeing that pick up quite a bit. Okay, that next version is just finished, so we can get rid of this one. And now all of those shapes are going in to be stacked finally here. And we can see this is going up now, the count. It's exactly what we wanted. And that's pretty much it. I'll show you guys the spaghetti monstrosity that this is. We're just using a single gear shape, splitting it in two before painting it. And the reason why that we can do that is because we only have half a gear for each of those colors. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then I'm using this blueprint to split them up into individual segments, and then from the 3 separate belts we can manipulate them accordingly to the shape required, putting pins in that. Similarly doing the same thing over here, and just taking one stage at a time, stacking one white and one cyan together, and just doing that 3 times over with their respective components, and then combining those separated components to the one, and then being thrown in. And now we play the waiting game. Alright, that next number 26 side task is now complete. Ancient communication. Let's unlock that. And that is all that's required for this one. Just a single hexagonal and flower. Just a couple of, or a few different colors here. And the way that we've set this up, we do only need the single flower. We're painting green first, then we can overwrite the green with the red, no problem. We're after painting and pinning, we're cutting it and separating it. And then the yellow hexagon is very straightforward, simply being stacked on top and thrown in. Here's a quick overview of that. Let's get rid of that. And this last stacker could be placed like here, and then you'd have the right and the left coming in like so. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, and that is our final piece of the shape complete. Do you see here we do have the full belts, full 12 belts here. So this is running optimally, which is great to see. I hope you guys have enjoyed. I hope this has been helpful. Have a blessed week, guys, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.